You want to infuse yourself and your personality. And the best way to do that is by connecting with what you're saying and understanding the audience that you're speaking to, which my background as a marketer, I think really benefits me in this way because I'm viewing the campaign as the overall objective of the campaign as who they're trying to target, what is the message they're trying to convey, and why are they targeting these specific people. And really the focus of most corporate copy specifically is how is this going to help the person listening?
Hello, everyone. George the Tech here with our continuing series of partner interviews. We've got so many amazing, trusted partners and affiliates that we've built relationships with. And it's so lovely to have with us today one of our great partners, and that is Heather Nichols. How are you doing, Heather?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm great. Great to see you. And thanks for joining me today.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Well, I want to learn about you because, there's a lot of people that we work with that some I've had very long relationships with. Some of them have been clients. Everybody has different levels of connection that we've worked with over the years. I want to know more about how you got to be where you are today. Give me a little bit of a background, first of all, about yourself and how voiceover became a main part of your life.
Yeah, definitely. So I am originally from West Virginia. I grew up there doing musical theater and basically any type of performing I could get myself involved with. Dance, choir, beauty pageants. I was Miss Teen West Virginia, all of those things.
No way. I didn't know that.
Trying to get seen and trying to make it here to LA, which eventually I did, thankfully.
Wow. How old were you when you made the move?
I was 19.
Wow, good for you. That is the story that we all hear about,
Yeah.
The young hopeful making the big trip across the country to I wasn't, what was I, 30 when I moved to LA?
Okay.
So, I waited a long time, but good for you. And also I was at Virginia Tech, so I wasn't all that far away from West Virginia.
Oh, cool.
We used to go
That's
over there
awesome.
to go hiking and stuff.
Sure. It was a great place to grow up, but this is really where I needed to be. I was focusing on camera acting for a very long time, and voiceover was kind of a secondary thing for me. My on camera agent at one point said, "Oh, do you want me to start submitting you on some voiceovers?" And I said, "I guess, sure. That's not really what I'm focusing on, but okay."
Mm-hmm.
Why not? And so then I booked some stuff, and I was the voice of a doll company for 7 years, which was so much fun, and ended up just getting burnt out on the whole thing. I kept network testing for on-camera roles over and over. This happened 6 times in 2 years, and it just got to be too much. And then the universe spoke, and I became a mom to twin boys. So it was just kind of a natural point to take a break from performing. During that time, I ended up becoming head of marketing for one of the world's biggest Comic-Con producers. Wow. I had had a marketing company on the side for many years, which I still do, a digital marketing agency.
Good to know.
Yeah.
We might be talking more.
Good. So I was doing that, and this company that I had actually done some on-camera hosting for, the owners of that company were starting a new business. And me being me, I was 6 months into being at home alone with twins and losing my mind and going, I need a creative outlet. And so I said, hey, you're going to need somebody to run social media for this new company. How about me? And I got hired initially to do part-time social media. Within 3 months, was running all marketing, PR, IT for the whole company, which I did for 4 years.
Wow.
During which time I started missing acting. Because it's my love. It's the love of my life. It's what I've always wanted to do. Since I was 3 years old, I've wanted nothing but to be an actor. So I was missing it. But I wasn't really in a place to do the on-camera thing of driving to Santa Monica at 4 p.m. on a Friday, full hair and makeup, for a 30-second audition. I just wasn't there mentally. So I thought, let me start back in voiceover. Let me just see. I had $100 snowball mic. That was what I had. No soundproofing. I had no idea what I was doing in terms of the engineering side. But I figured it out slowly but surely and just started booking, and it snowballed. And I've been full-time now for 4 years.
No pun intended, snowballed. Yeah.
I know, right? Oh my goodness. I didn't even mean to do that. But my main focuses are corporate narration, e-learning, and audiobooks, and then some commercials as well.
Yeah, so you have an interesting arc because you started as an actor. You were thrust into voiceover. You did voiceover. You pulled away. started a family, took a tangent, and came back, which really poises you very well for getting back into, I mean, basically, it poises you very well for starting a voiceover business at that point, because now you've got, I mean, I downplay it, but now all you have to do is set up your studio, essentially, and kind of navigate the newer, the modern, I guess, voiceover landscape, right?
Right.
And
Yeah, because
so
when I
was
was
that the
doing
most
it
difficult
before,
part? Was that the most difficult part? Just,
oh,
just
100%.
kind of like, oh, this is voiceover now. Oh, this is all online casting. What's going on? Did you maintain an agent relationship through that whole time, or you just booked out? How did that work?
I had an agent for a bit, but I just wasn't in the headspace. And so we kind of parted ways after my boys were born. And so I was kind of doing it on my own at first. I have had an agent now again for quite a few years, thankfully, which has been great. But there was a period where I was really getting back into it and I was doing it all myself. And it was a very different environment because when I was doing it previously with that first agent, I would go into their office, into their recording studio for every audition.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't record at home. I didn't have to be my own engineer. But now you do. You're a one-stop shop. So that definitely was a big learning curve for me when I started getting back into it. But I went down lots of rabbit holes, watched lots of your content. Thank you very much.
Oh, good.
And learned a lot and was able to kind of piece it together slowly. And now I think I have a pretty decent setup.
You definitely have a decent setup. I mean, I've heard it, and I'm seeing and hearing your setup here. You're clearly in a Studio Bricks booth. You've got the classic TLM 103 and 416 combo, which is a can't lose, essentially combination. And I know you're using, you've got the Apollo all set up with the gear. You have it set up so you can easily switch mics.
Yeah.
It's dialed. I connect to a lot of folks for these interviews, and some people need a little more hand holding to get the thing rolling. You were like, I got it. Okay, good. All right, we're ready.
Great.
It was like click, 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 boom, you were in. And I was like, oh yeah, she's got it together.
I try.
Well, I mean, that's the kind of thing like, you know how competitive it is, obviously, but when you are not only talented and available, but also easy to work with technically, that makes people go, they're like, that was easy. That was easy. Oh, she was great. So pleasant. So easy to work. Oh, she was ready to go. She sounded great. Like you check all those boxes. People want to keep hiring you, right?
Absolutely. That's something that I kind of pride myself on is providing a very seamless experience, whether it's with a coaching client or a voiceover client, whoever it may be. I want it to be easy for them. I want to make their life easier. That's my whole goal. So anything I can do to accomplish that, I'm going to try to do.
Now, you did mention along your journey, too, that there was a little bit of an IT side of things. So technology seems like it's not too intimidating to you. What kind of IT levels were you doing? Was it literally networking and computer issues, or what were you doing?
It was more setting up networks, like intranet kind of networks, because we were all working remotely from all over the country. So it was doing a lot of that. It was setting up databases, database management, things like that. Troubleshooting people trying to get on video calls who had no idea how to do that.
Oh, geez.
Trying to walk them through setting up their sound and audio.
Yeah,
and
so you've been in my shoes there, too. You were helping a lot of,
at a lower level, for sure.
Yeah, but still, that's really impressive. All that well-rounded skill set is just such a bonus. For your confidence and your ability to navigate that. The gear is what, for sure, for a lot of actors who have what I just interviewed Rick Wasserman. We used the word legit acting, which is what's that on camera, on stage. That's the stuff that cripples a lot of folks. It's debilitatingly scary. That's why we have a business, right? So you have all that background. You have some technical skills. When did you decide it was time to get a little bit more, help?
Goodness. It's really when I was getting my booth is when I needed some help, because this is a whole thing
sure is.
that has to be set up. And I just wanted to make sure I was doing it correctly. I've invested, a fair amount in this setup. And if I'm going to do it, I want to do it right the first time. And that's why when I was upgrading my equipment, I went with, the microphones that you and so many others have recommended. I also have a Sphere microphone, which you so kindly helped me set up for my travel rig. which I love, and it
Yeah.
works great. Thank you. I've had a lovely summer with that on the road.
I love it.
But yeah, so that's really when I decided to go full time and really upgrade my whole setup was when I needed a little more support in this specific area.
That's great. That's great. Well, you're a partner with us because you're not just a client, but you also are a provider of services yourself. Why don't you share with everybody what you can help people with?
Yeah, absolutely. So I teach group classes occasionally, just a few times a year, mainly focusing on the business of voiceover and on narration. So that narration class focuses on corporate narration, e-learning, and audiobooks. And then I also teach a third class that is a voiceover 101 class, which is myself and three other instructors. We each take one of the 4 weeks and we focus on just kind of a little sneak peek of what our longer form class looks like. So I have the group classes and then I also offer one-on-one coaching. And some of my clients like to focus on the business side of voiceover, whether
Mm-hmm.
that's marketing, branding, getting their casting profiles up to date
Really
and making sure
important
everything's
stuff.
filled out. Absolutely using that algorithm to their advantage on these
Mm-hmm.
casting sites and also optimizing their websites as well. But sometimes we focus on performance and maybe prepping for a narration demo, maybe focusing on some audition copy and figuring out what samples they should have to try and market themselves. So it's really a mix of business and performance, which are my two loves, the two kind of sides of my personality I get to
Mm-hmm.
marry together a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been such a great experience. I've connected with so many amazing voice actors, and I'm so thankful every time they trust me to help them kind of reach that next point in their journey.
That's fantastic. That is the key, is that all that stuff needs to be in balance.
Yeah.
And so the fact that you can navigate that for people is huge. When did you decide it was time to start coaching? I mean, I'm working with a lot of you amazing talent that have made that transition. When was that? When did that happen? And you're like, oh, I guess it's time. Was it the usual, everybody keeps asking me questions, so
That's
I better
correct.
do something about this?
That's correct. Well, what really started it was, well, I was approached to teach these group classes. And for so long, I said, no, no, no. Who am I to teach? I feel like I still have so much to learn.
Right, right.
And then I started thinking about it, going, oh, I actually do know quite a bit about these specific areas.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was kind of the what got the ball rolling. Well, if I can teach a group class, I could teach individually. And I did just have so many people reaching out to me, wanting coaching, wanting advice, wanting direction. And I have been able to build a pretty good community on TikTok, which is so fun. And
Mm-hmm.
also, I fought that for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
But I was in a workshop with a voiceover casting director, and she said, if you're not on TikTok as a voice actor, you're missing an opportunity.
Mm.
And I said, oh, fine, I
Uh,
guess I'll do it.
oh, F something.
Right.
That's the word you
Oh,
used, I'm sure.
yeah. But it ended up really going well, and I connected with so many amazing people. I have like 20 some thousand followers, and
That's amazing.
it's just been such a fun ride. And people were reaching out to me a lot on there and on Instagram as well. So I thought, you know what? I think it's time. That's kind of a logical progression for
Mm-hmm.
my business and a logical expansion. And I've had the best time with it. It's so fun. I've been coaching for about 3 years now. So
That's great.
it's really growing, and I love it so much.
TikTok is an interesting beast. I've been putting my content on there. I'm doing what they tell you not to do, which is just putting the same content on multiple
Sure.
platforms.
I do it too
It's the
sometimes.
capacity to which I can sort of stand and handle, and then I check to see if there's
Yeah,
engagement for what I'm doing and the kind of content I'm doing, which frankly is promotional mostly.
sure.
There's not really any engagement for me. It doesn't really go anywhere. I know for me, Facebook is still where it's at. The groups
Sure.
are critical, and that's
Yeah,
where I put most of my energy. LinkedIn has definitely taken a big step forward over the last few years. Do you
definitely.
find you get some traction with LinkedIn? Is that useful? Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a great avenue for direct marketing for voice
Mm-hmm.
actors
B2B,
because
right? It's the B2B
yes,
platform.
exactly, because all of those producers and people that are making these explainer videos or corporate narration projects, they're all there. And because they kind of have to be in the business world at this point, you have to have a presence there to an extent, at least, especially in the entertainment field. So I have found it to be a really good resource for connections and direct marketing and just getting information as
You know what?
well.
It seems like it's a place where adults go to be adults.
Yeah. It's not so much people posting pictures of their puppies and their breakfast. It's,
Yeah,
it's actual professional.
there's a bit of that going on, and of course, the political environment right now is super caustic, and there's very little
Yeah,
of that on there, and it's not really a place for that. So that's
right.
another reason it's nice to be on there. But these are all great platforms. Well, I would love for our fans and our audience, our clients, to know what kind of things you'd like to offer. And also, I wanted to ask before you get to that is, do you do you like to have people on sort of a recurring basis? Like, do you see as your services most useful if they are coming back on a regular basis, or do you feel like you're more of like a Mr. Fix It? I fix your issue and you're good, which tends to be the way we operate here.
Sure. I think it depends on the situation, honestly, because some people are just up against a specific wall that they can't get over for whatever reason. And sometimes we can just knock it out in one session. But overall, I do think there is a greater benefit to having multiple sessions together and really being able to get to know each other, me being able to understand their business, where they're at, where they're trying to get to, so that I can help them reach that next level.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do offer one single sessions, and then I offer a package of 4 sessions as well, which
Mm-hmm.
has a little bit of a discount.
Mm-hmm.
But for you guys, I would love to offer even more of a discount
Love
because
it.
I
Yes.
know that George the Tech only associates with amazing people. So I would love to offer 25% off the individual sessions or the package sessions. So just use code George the Tech and you'll get 25% off.
Wow, that's really good. I'm honored, and I'm really glad that you can share that with our clients. We do have great clients. It's
Yeah,
true. Those that come to our website and decide to use our services generally are pretty smart, resourceful people. They know when it's time to spend a little bit of money to get help,
right.
and so we have really some of the best clients in the industry, bar none. I would say. I've known and worked with so many amazing people through this channel, but I do get people all the time who hire us because they're in a slump and they
Yeah,
think it must be something with their audio. It must be their
yeah,
gear. What's going on? And when I get that feeling, I do always ask, who is your coach? And some people, and a lot of times the question is, well, I've had a coach here and there, and I'm like, yeah, it sounds like that's really what you need.
yeah,
You're searching for a reason why you're not booking right now, and it's an obvious thing to want to double check your sound. That's why we have sound
yeah.
check, right? It's a cheap way to find out, hey, is my audio sound the way it's supposed to sound? But beyond that, then it's really having somebody to bounce things off of and navigate. So having you as a resource for them is really, really great.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes you just need a new, fresh set of eyes, fresh set of ears on your materials. And sometimes it's just small tweaks that you need to do. You get in these patterns, especially with what I do with corporate. There are so many patterns that people tend to get in
Mm.
with the melody of the copy.
Mm-hmm.
And you're doing it the way you think it should sound, but that's not authentic and that's not going to book. So a lot of times that's what I'll see people, that's the roadblock I see a lot of people hitting.
How about of course there's certain types of voice work that feels like it's more susceptible to being replaced by some
Yeah,
automated voices. How do you let people know, your students know how to be themselves and not fall into the trap of overly, like, because if you're too rhythmic and too consistent and too pristine, what do you start to sound like?
exactly. You sound like a robot, and robots a lot of times are cheaper than we are. So you really want to avoid that. You want to infuse yourself and your personality. And the best way to do that is by connecting with what you're saying and understanding the audience that you're speaking to, which my background as a marketer, I think really benefits me in this way because I'm viewing the campaign as the overall objective of the campaign as who they're trying to target, what is the message they're trying to convey, and why are they targeting these specific people. And really, the focus of most corporate copy specifically is how is this going to help the person listening? So if you come at it with that perspective of you have a problem, I have a solution, here it is, sometimes that can really help you sound more human and connect to what you're saying versus just reading it. A lot of people can read in a nice, clear, crisp voice. Let's be honest.
I can do
But
that.
absolutely. So that part,
That's about it.
people think, oh, well, I have such a nice voice. People tell me I have a nice voice. I should do voiceovers.
That's right. I've heard that all my life, but the acting is another level.
Yes, and it does require acting. That's something I talk about in my classes and my coaching a lot of, that you are still acting. You are putting yourselves in the shoes of a representative of this company or this product, and you have to figure out what their tone is and what the appropriate tone for that specific instance is. So there's a lot of nuance there that I think people overlook a lot of the time.
Well, I think I just found the soundbite that's going to go at the start of our video.
Great.
We always have a cold open that gets right into the meat of the matter, and there it was, I think. So
Okay, great.
I'll be putting that in. We'll wrap it up, because I think we got a really nice interview, and I think we covered what we needed. So, well, it's lovely having you to take two. Well, it's so lovely to have you today, and you're going to be a great resource to our clients. So I'm very glad to have you as one of our trusted partners. Thank you so much, Heather. And where do they go? Obviously, the link's going to be on the page, but where do they go to find you?
Absolutely. HeatherNicholsCoaching.com is my website, and I would love to connect with all of you guys. Reach out if you have questions. If you'd like to do a little consultation, I'm happy to do that before you decide if you want to do a session with me. And I'm just so grateful. George, thank you so much for your time. And everybody, George is awesome.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Heather. Have a great rest of the day.
Thanks, you too.
Perfect. All right.